And welcome to Federal Taxation number 3. Today we will be looking at the following 5 learning objectives. Objective number 1, understand the structure of a trust. And we'll take a close look at that word trust, make sure you know the definition. And secondly, describe what a fiduciary tax return is. Fiduciary, again, key word throughout this course and our companion course, fiduciary. Number 3 learning objective, understand the tax year of the trust. How do we determine the tax year? The rules are going to be similar to determining tax year for the individual or corporation. It depends on the trust, and some of them can be quite large and complex. I would imagine the Trump trust is probably pretty complicated, except everything goes to Barron. Understand the tax year of the trusts is number 3. Number 4, define distributable net income. Distributable net income. So the trust has a net income which can be distributed, but not all of it. And finally, summarize the tax treatment of sale of principal residence. So when you sell the home in which you live, that is your principal residence, rules of sale are different than they are for investment real estate, even single-family homes, if you're not occupying them. And one is assumed to occupy one home at a time, by the way, for this purpose. So those are our learning objectives. The reading assignment will be found on page 81 and page 83. On page 81, read business structure on business law, and partnership on page 83 on business law. So we look at 2 different structures, business structure, corporate and partnership, and watch the video, of course, for lesson 6, which you're doing now. That leads us to our discussion activities, and we have 4 discussion questions. If you are in attendance, you may simply indicate that these were discussed in class. If you are not in attendance, you have to supply written answers, which I see everyone has been doing very diligently and faithfully. Thank you very much. Our 4 discussion questions are as follows. Discuss when an estate must file a Form 1041 U.S. income tax return for the estate or the trust. I don't know if the text is going to discuss this, but a trust can take the form of a living trust, and that would be one circumstance where a Form 1041 would be filed. But we'll look at all the examples in the 2 pages of readings. It's not very much. Number 2, explain the classification of trusts and discuss the tax treatment of each type of trust and each type of beneficiary. Of course, these are going to vary somewhat. It makes a nice little array on the reading page. We'll take a close look at that in class on Tuesday night. Number 3, define distributable net income and discuss the calculation formula for distributable net income. It's not terribly complicated, but we do want to get that definition out and committed to understanding, if not memory. And finally, discuss the conditions of termination of an estate or trust. Those conditions would be both the disposition of the property involved in the trust and any taxes that may come due as a result of the action of termination. Also, you have a quiz coming up at the end of this lesson 6. Make sure that you're well prepared for that, as well as can be expected. Perfection is not necessary. We just want to get you by with really good grades here, so your preparation is the main determinant of that. We will, at this juncture, lesson 6, also take a kind of an overview look at the entire subject matter to date, and specifically an examination of lessons 7 and 8. 2 more weeks to go, and we will be ending the first session of the fall season and enter into the second session, which will end sometime, I believe, before Christmas, actually quite a bit before Christmas. So we look forward to finishing up with these classes in 2 more weeks. Be sure to bring your electronic devices so that you can look at the relevant readings from Lesson 6, and I'll look forward very much to seeing you the night class is scheduled. Thank you very much.